Leeds United's mystery tour in Germany continues as Leeds United has faced Bundesliga 2 side Schalke yesterday. They came out of it having won 2-0 and it was a pretty good match, and there is a lot to discuss. So, hello, welcome to the channel, and this is everything that you need to know from the Leeds versus Schalke match that happened yesterday. That includes everything that's gone on off the pitch and bits of news around that, how exactly we're likely to start the season in terms of lineup, where we're looking going forwards, and defensive discussions as well, and then maybe some little predictions. I know it's early. Let's make stupid early predictions. Why not? First up, we need to talk about off-the-pitch stuff, and there was one very notable absence, both from the first team lineup and from the bench, and that was that many noticed that Crysencio Summerville wasn't present. However, it wasn't him negotiating a move to who knows where. He was instead struggling with a little bit of a strain, and there is reportedly a plan to scan it and then judge from there what the plan is for the rest of pre-season. So, word for word, what Graham Smith wrote on this was, Leeds simply exercised caution with the winger who's set for a scan to ensure the hamstring problem is not a serious one. Makes sense to me, to be honest. In addition to that, another player that was missing was Patrick Bamford, and they preferred to put Patrick Bamford through some more individual training rather than just have a cameo. There's no point risking a further injury on the pitch if you can just sort of do a bit of individual training, get yourself up to that right fitness level, and then play slightly longer in a friendly that's later on in the pre-season, just to get a little bit more comfy, a little bit more happy with where you are in terms of your body. In addition to that, Dan James is set to rejoin training soon after a groin strain, and ultimately, it feels like we're dealing with this very sensibly. We're doing what's best for all parties in all of these specific injury matters, and that makes me quite happy. It's quite rare that we're making good decisions, but I like it. And it's given us a better idea of roughly how the season's going to start, because the lineup is becoming clearer and clearer as these friendlies go on. So, in net, for example, Illan Meslier remains the first choice for the Whites, with to the right-hand side of him and a little bit forward, Jayden Bogle claiming that right wing-back role opposite Junior Firpo. They've both got very similar profiles to one another, which I think is really important when it comes to the sort of system that we play in, and I really kind of quite like it. However, at the middle of the defence, there is a little bit of a battle over Joe Rodon's pairing. Max Wöber played the match against Schalke, with Pascal Struijk playing for extended periods against Hanover, and I feel like the two are going to sort of battle it out for who starts. In my opinion, I think I prefer Struijk at the minute, but I feel like Max Wöber will probably be in with a little bit of a push towards that starting berth as the beginning of the season gets closer. It's going to be tough to decide, absolutely, but there is a decision to be made there. If we play with a back three, play both of them, absolutely. But as is, I think I'm leaning Struijk. In midfield, Ampadu is very clearly the first choice, and whilst there is a little bit of rotation outside that, I think it's going to be more opponent dependent than anything else. You can pair Gruev with Ampadu if you want to be a little bit more defensively solid, hold possession and control the midfield, or you can try Rothwell there instead if you want to do a little bit more ball progression-y stuff. That, I think, would be the right take against Portsmouth. But in terms of what's going to happen for the rest of the season, I think it's going to be chop and change depending on what the opponent is and what that ultimately requires. It's going to be quite smart to sort of have options and make decisions that make sense for you. I'm enjoying that. In front of that, we have Aronson and Rutter. I like them as sort of double 10s. That's really effective. You've got Junior Firpo bombing down the left, functionally playing as a winger whilst we're on the ball. So Aronson's tucking in a bit, and you've got Rutter and him playing alongside each other, and that sort of works really nicely. Out wide, you've got a right winger who's playing a little bit more hugging the flank. Nonto or James, in my opinion, would be perfect for this. Maybe I'd say James would be my first choice because he likes to play that little bit wider, but Nonto cutting in, not a problem at all. The weird thing is, since I really like the way that we're playing at the minute, I'd personally struggle to squeeze Summerville in, but I'm sure there'll be a way if he's still like a big choice for the club as we get into the main bit of the season. And now the final choice on the pitch is becoming increasingly obvious. Mateo Joseph is definitely the number 9 choice in my opinion. The 2 friendlies we've played in Germany, he scored 3 goals, and that you couldn't ask for a better audition if you're a footballer. But outside of the basic selection, we need to talk about how exactly these players are playing. So first up, we need to start with some defensive discussion. And a clean sheet here for us was absolutely excellent. Schalke are not a bad side. They came, I think, 8th, 10th in Bundesliga 2 last season, which admittedly is sort of mid-table, lower-end championship in terms of standard. But that's still really very good in terms of their going forward, and it gives you something that you'll have to defend against. They didn't concede too many good chances as well, Leeds, which puts us ultimately in the driving seat and means that we're not worrying about having to defend too hard. We're allowed to go forwards and just with relative abandon and make sure that we're scoring the chances that we can. And any issues that we've had have been individual rather than with the system. So the goal that we conceded against Hanover was just a bodged back pass that didn't quite work out. Can't really blame Melier for that. You can only blame a slightly iffy back pass and the fact that it's pre-season and these things are going to happen. In a competitive match, that's not a problem. And I absolutely feel like that would not be a problem in the season itself. So that means that basically at the back, we're very secure at the minute. The big question to answer is at left centre-back. It's Strauch, is it Vuba? Who knows? But the wing-backs are basically set and ready. We just need a little bit of depth there and we can feel a lot more comfy. And in terms of feeling comfy, going forward, I feel like we are looking incredible. Jorginho Rutter, insanely creative. The way that he can find space both by running and passing is delicious. And he's pairing up really well with Brendan Aronson too, who is developing nicely. He's learning the system and he's not only just sort of doing the running stuff, he's popping up in very dangerous places and having some actual chances and shots on target, which he wasn't having under Jesse Marsh. So being able to do so this season is colossal for us. Add on to that the fact that Mateo Joseph has scored yet again. That tells us that he is the pure number 9 that we need. Piru, bit too much of a 10-9 hybrid. Bamford, a little bit too injured. I think if Joseph keeps this run of form up, he's going to be unstoppable going into the season. And it's not just the sort of out-and-out attacking players that have been impressive when it comes to going forwards, because Firpo and Bogle have had huge involvements too. Bogle to Joseph has been an assist-goal pairing in the last 2 matches. That's how well that link is working out, and I'm loving it. And Firpo is continuing to do his wild, going forward, nuts thing again. And a lot of this also comes from our consistent midfield control. Got a very solid foundation of having the ball and being able to recycle it and use it effectively, and I love that. And I'm looking forward to a very, very fun season to come, and that means I've got to make some predictions. And whilst I do think it's too early for full-blown predictions, going to do those right before the season starts. I think in terms of like who's going to come where, might do that as a stream. I don't know. But I think this is a side that will blow some teams out of the water. We are going to get some big old score lines this season, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'll be honest, I will be very, very surprised if at the very least we're not challenging for the top 2. And I can very genuinely see us being champions, but that comes down to what the end of the window looks like, how well the team gels, and if this pre-season translates into playing effectively in the season itself. But that's all that I've been thinking. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please pop a like on it. Subscribe if you're not yet. You can even become a channel member for 99p a month. All that is going to Prostate Cancer UK until the charity walk, which is now like a week away. That's scary. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Also, a little treat for the people that are still here. I've worked out a cat cam. Look at that. There we go. I can make it big. I can make it small. It's great, isn't it? Hold on. There we go. See you later.